this from Dollar Tree. And basically what's in it is just this. I was gonna make this a no talking, but there's too much background noise. Anyway, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about why I quit my job at Taco Bell. It's currently like, I think, it's Friday, December 8th, right? Or 7th.
7th.
I quit my job on Thursday. Yesterday. I worked at Taco Bell for about 3 months, almost 3 months, right? And I quit because I just could not deal with them. The management there just sucked ass.
Booty hole. Booty hole. Booty hole.
Booty hole.
Yeah, it's a booty hole.
It's like booty hole, whatever. At first, it was, I don't know. At first, I think it was good at first. It was. I worked front counter. And it was just like going good as well. Like at first, I was happy that I finally got a job. And then things just went downhill. So, for the law, if you work over 5 hours, you're supposed to get a 30-minute break by law. And I would work like 7 hours straight. Like basically over 5 hours, 7 hours, or almost 8. And they would keep me like, I would get off like at 3 or 4, and they would keep me until like sometimes like an hour, like an hour more. And I would never get a 30-minute break. I'm like, yeah, I complained about it, but then I didn't because I was like, well, more hours, which means more money. And you know what I like? And I actually got food poisoning from them. I got food poisoning from Taco Bell because obviously like they would give free meals for the employees, and I would get the free meal. And one day, it was a Monday, I ate there and I came home and I was just super sick. Like, well, first I had the fever and then I had the food poisoning. So good. And and I missed like a few days from work, like almost a week or two. Yeah. It was like a week, huh? So that was, and my doctor had told me I should like quit my job. But I was like, no, because I need that money. Dummy. They would like not sell a certain item no more. Like, I don't know if you guys heard of the beefy crunch burrito. And they were like not, like one time I had a friend, he came in and he ordered that, and I basically like I rang it up for him on the register, and I guess like we weren't selling that no more. And my manager comes and says, oh yeah, we're not selling that no more. And my friend was like, she was basically trying to sell my friend something cheaper. I don't remember. But my friend was like, no, like, I'll just take this and that. And then my manager was like, okay. And then my friend left, and my manager was basically giving me so much shit about it. And it wasn't even my fault, because, like, the managers there, they suck. Like, they would not let me know anything. Like, how am I supposed to know that we're not selling a certain item when you guys don't even let me know? And it's still on the register in the system. I would get so frustrated over that. Oh my god, I just filled up everything. The manager's there, like, okay. Ooh. One time, I was washing the dishes, and how their dishes are, it's like a big ass side, like a whole side of it. We have like one part where all like the dirty dishes are in there, and you have to rinse it out, and then you have to throw it into the middle, where it's like the soap, like kind of like the dishwasher, and then like it's another sink on the side of that, where you take it out of the dishwasher side, and like you rinse all the soap off of it, and then you put it in the sanitized sink where the sanitized water is in there. And after that, you put it in there for a few minutes, you take it out, and then you let it dry. And remind you, this is not my job. Doing the dishes isn't even part of front counter, it's part of the drive-through people. And I just like, I volunteered to do it because I felt bad. So yeah, and then I was like washing it, and there was so many dishes, and it was already my time to be off, but they held me back to finish it. And so I was washing, and then one of my managers, we'll call him
Crispy.
No, so that's the other one. That's the other manager.
E.T.
No, that's too noticeable.
Okay, it's E.T.
Okay, we'll call him E.T. Okay, we'll call him E.T. So E.T. comes, and he's like, you know what would be easier? If we just put the dishes that have a little bit of food into the middle, and then that's when you can really focus on the main dishes that have food on there. So here he is, just throwing dishes that had food on it in the middle where the dishwashing was. And like the general manager, she comes and she's like, And the general manager comes and she's like, no, you're doing it wrong. Like the dishwasher sink is like dirty. Like you need to change the water now. There's like, you're not supposed to have any type of food. And here comes ET, one of the managers, the shift leader. He's like, oh yeah, like we're not supposed to have any dishes with any type of food in that sink. And I was like, okay, but literally 5 minutes ago you were over here throwing dishes in that sink, telling me that it'll be easier for me. I was like, oh my god. They were just so unprofessional. That whole Taco Bell was just so unprofessional. I'm sorry. But yeah, and then after I got food poisoning, I had to, because once again I worked 7 hours, and it was like 2 hours before my shift ended, and 2 hours before my shift would end, and I never got a 30-minute break or even a 10-minute break, and I had stomach pain. So I told one of my managers, I'm gonna call him Crispy, and I was like, yeah, can I take like my 30-minute break or like my 10 and go take my medicine? Cause I had stomach pain. Ew. And I'm sorry, I'm sick. And he was like, yeah, like we'll give you a 30-minute break when it's not that busy. When it's not that busy on drive-thru. There was like multiple times when there was no one in drive-thru and they never gave me my break. And all I wanted was just to go take my medication. One thing that they always did, I would like work, or once again, I would work like 6-7 hours, and because I was only working part-time, and also I'm a minor, because I'm only 17 years old, and they would basically just mark on the board that I already took my 30-minute break when I never did. And there would be people coming like 2 hours after I clocked in, and they would get their break just like an hour later, and I never had my break. One of the managers actually came in, ET, 2 hours after I clocked in, and like not even like 30 minutes later, he got his break. Because he gave it to himself, obviously, and like didn't even check for any of the employees that never got a 30-minute break. I love this drink. I'm getting full already. I was actually scheduled to work yesterday, the day I quit, and I never went to my shift. All I did was just text my manager, the general manager, saying I quit, and then She removed me from the work group chat. And that was it. Never heard from them again. Obviously, it's only been like one day. I'm not gonna say don't work at Taco Bell. Just don't work at a Taco Bell that, like how I work at. Because they'll treat you so unfair. I'm honestly so full. I have like this much left. I'm so sorry, this video is probably a fail. And I don't know if I'm gonna upload it.